multiple
two.
Zoom meetings, because we have the public up there.
Who's that?
That's the public feed.
Jody Anthony.
And you've got 14 people watching you.
Wow.
So good afternoon, I'm Andrew Morgan. I know we've met before. I'm chair of the 7th Circuit JNC. We're here conducting interviews for the open county vacancy for which you have applied. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself again to the commissioners and tell us why you want to be a county court judge?
Sure. Steve Gosney. You've seen me before. I do have my full app in front of you, I think. And why do I want to be a county judge? Well, I think that it's a natural progression from where I am. I've had kind of a diverse background, and I don't need to go over the application, but I've had civil, which I think Terry, we had a big case with Terry once, and criminal appeals, civil litigation. I was in private industry, so I kind of have all the bases covered, and I think that I'd be good at it. I look at the models, my models for county judge. I've seen tons of judges from good to bad, and I was just talking to the fellow out here about David Foxman and what a great judge he is, because he is so efficient, and I'd be very respectful of all the attorney's time. I remember I had a case where I was covering first appearances with him, and first appearances, sometimes they just get abusive because they're so long and they go through. He was Johnny on the spot, very efficient, gave everybody their say, and I remember some pleas he did. And his plea colloquy with those defendants who wanted to plea, in 1 minute, he did it better than some of them I've seen do 10-minute colloquies in felony court that were flawed. And here he's doing it in 1 minute, very cleanly, very efficiently, and respectful of all the parties. And sort of as a counterexample, when I first started with Landis Graham French in private practice, I was thinking about a bad example of a county judge who shall remain unnamed. But I've been maybe 3 years or so, and I was tasked to defend some case, and it was a small claims kind of case, something about a flooded toilet. And the other attorney on the other side had only been practicing for like 6 months, and she had filed this like 20-page motion. And we had maybe 30 attorneys in the courtroom, right? And I understand that the rules don't allow for that kind of motion at that point. But the right way to say would be to say, counsel, I know you've only been working 6 months, but the rules don't allow for a motion like that if you'd like to invoke the rules. But instead, it was a 20-minute scolding of the attorney about, oh, I've put a hole and put it over their heads, and you don't file something like this, and why are you wasting my time? And it was just belittling this young attorney. And I felt so bad about it. I mean, I was opposition. Obviously, I wanted to win this thing, but afterwards, I took her out to lunch, and she was, I thought she was doing her best she could. She was paid for by her client. So I think and that was not only disrespectful to that young attorney, it was disrespectful to all the other people in that courtroom. So, and that's not the kind. I think you need to be efficient, fair, and judicious with everybody that comes before you. So I think I could do that. Obviously, you guys are the gatekeepers, but I just thought about maybe that would be a good way to express where I would like to go if I was to be county judge. The former, not the latter.
How do you think you do an election in this county?
Right. Well, I've been in county all my life. I was born and raised here. I have lots of family here, and obviously, I've been in the radio, I've been in the media. I'm trying to substitute that. I'm actually getting on some national webcam broadcasts, but that may not. We'll see where that goes too. But I do have the ability to communicate in media, and I know I have a lot of support from a lot of friends. And one of the things about putting your name in this difficult process, and this is not an easy process, and I hope you guys recognize that, is the level of support from your friends and the letters that they write. It gets me choked up just thinking about it, because I'm really proud of people that support me. So that's a blessing, and I just can't. If nothing else happens, I've already won, right? So, and I know those people that support me going forward in any event.
Steve, you shared that anecdote about that young lawyer being scolded by the court, how you handled that. Would that be reflective of your judicial demeanor if you're on the bench in terms of dealing with young lawyers and pro se litigants?
Well, number one thing is you always have to respect everybody. And even dealing with criminals who have bad records and they come in and they've got attitudes and all that, the one thing you always give people is respect, and you listen to them and give them an ear. Even if you're going to rule against them, you have to explain why. That is number one rule. And you talk about if you have a lawyer who's doing something wrong. This lawyer I thought was very professional and held to her guns against what was not a nice position. She's in a disparate power position. But I think that it's also your job as judge to make sure that those lawyers in your courtroom are operating ethically and accordance with the law, and if they aren't, to try to help them. You know, it's not just, and of course when you're talking in county court, it's really the people's court, so you're talking about a lot of pro se litigants. Those people need the respect, and they need to be clear on what the law is and what things are relevant. I remember I had my prosecutor when I was first prosecuting, and I came in from private. I didn't have any criminal experience when I first came there. And I started talking, like, look at this guy. I was all bringing in all these facts. I was all fired up about this case. And I remember him looking at me and saying, well, what's that have to do with the case? What's that have to do with the facts? And I thought about it, and it's always in my mind, every criminal case. I'm like, yeah, what does that have to do with the facts? So when I look at a criminal case, for example, it's law and facts. That's what's relevant. What are the facts and what are the law? And obviously the judge of the law, and if you have a litigant who's in front of you who's spouting off a lot of irrelevant things, you say, wait a second, that's not relevant, the issues here are this, what facts do you have to support that? And that's part of efficiency also. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about an email that you sent to Chris earlier in October of 2021, after we had the last one of our meetings, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you meant by it. And so, if you could help me out, I mean, all the committee members
Sure.
had the same thing. What is it that was occurring or not occurring that you think should be different?
Well, I think the committee really needs to give people a fair shot. And, sending 3 people up, I think is a mistake, number one. And I've been on the committee, I've been where you are. And I think by sending 3 committee up, that's a problem, because this is a very difficult process. Now, obviously, it's your call, right? And I like Chris, and I trust Chris, and I think he's an excellent attorney. And when I was young and just a wee attorney, he was sort of a model. I'm hoping to live up. I think I've grown a lot since I was just a young pup attorney. But I think it's also somebody. I mean, actually, I like Judge Kelly. I mean, it's not like I think that was a mistake. That wasn't criticizing. I'm thinking that you need to give the maximum chance to people by giving a list of 3. When you have multiple, I saw some people on the list that I think at least should be given a shot with the governor. And it's disheartening because you lose credibility as a committee when you reject people, and you're not going to get good applicants going into the future if you're basically slamming the door in people's faces like that. I mean, I think I think that I have the right to communicate. In fact, you even solicit comments and say if you have questions,
Right.
you should communicate with the committee. And
Yeah, I'm not being critical. I just wanted to get a better understanding of where you were coming from.
right. I mean, obviously it benefits me, right? I mean, there's a county position open, so I should say, oh, that's great. Get that person up there, open the county position, right? I mean, now I'm hearing an applicant. Now, oh yeah. But I think that the committee needs to be aware that this is a very difficult process. I mean, it's psychologically hard. It's hard. You go through emotional waves and you put your eggs in this basket and you say, am I going to make it? Am I not? Why am I getting rejected? What is going on? And there's all these internal emotions, and it's very hard. And so when you've got good people in there, I mean, you need to reward it. And by not doing that, the cost of that is that you're going to lose good applicants, people that are going to give up on the process.
But you didn't apply that last time, though, did you?
No, I
And
didn't.
you probably should have.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, I don't know why. Well, I appreciate that you say that. That's great. I hope that you follow through on that. you know, everybody asks me, like, when I come in, well, why don't you, you know, I remember one county, I've never been through this process, you know, and it's hard to keep coming back here and get rejected. And so, I remember one time I had a county position, I forget which one it was, and somebody asked me, well, why don't you apply for the circuit position? I'm like, well, why don't you put me through an accounting position, right? I mean, it's like, well, whatever you're doing, it's wrong, do something else. I mean, you know, so I don't know what more I can do. I do everything, I work very hard, and that's all I can do.
Thank you.
But thank you for bringing that up. If that is an issue, you do ask for opinions of people.
Absolutely.
And
just
one
wanna
thing you'll get
understand.
from me is you'll get an opinion.
No, I just want to understand it.
Thank you for the feedback on the versus 6. I take that for what it's meant to be.
Well, and it's not just, and I understand county judges kind of get preference, or I've been on there, I understand that, right? The problem is losing credibility with the bar and not getting the applicants that you should. Okay, and it's just what you're saying, like you should have applied, but I didn't because I was discouraged. And and I know I have numbers of friends who like it. I've been on there, I try to defend the committee. I'm like, no, the JNC is great, they're fair, they're going to give you a good shot and all that. And then when you don't put those people on there, I was like, well, yeah, then they give me all the opposite side. Now, what do I do to defend the committee in that part? You see what I mean?
So let me ask you, you didn't apply for the circuit, but you do the county. Do you prefer a county spot? You've come before us on both. I think you've applied to the 5th before. So which courtroom?
Well, I actually applied to the 5th because I had something to say to them too, Greg. If you read my article on PCAs.
But which courtroom do you see yourself as being best suited for?
You know, I like the county. I mean, I would say that I like the county bench that we have. Like I said, David, working with this group, Judy Davidson, sorry, Judge Judy. You know, Belle Schumann is amazing. I mean, our county, and I'm really from Volusia County, and you were talking about who's the elections, who is the election. I feel very confident I can defend a Volusia County election. And when I looked at it, I was having some friends that were talking about circuit-wide elections. I'd be a lot less comfortable in a circuit-wide election. So, and I know that becomes an issue. People, when they get put through, we've had challenges to people, and you want to make sure they can defend their seat. So that's an issue. And so when I'm thinking about my own calculus, which seat would be better defended, county would definitely be it. And actually, I really like work. I like the people contact. And one of the things I really enjoy doing is mentoring, not only young attorneys, but I just like helping people generally. I mean, it's a gift to me to be able to help people and bring them along and make us all better. I mean, that's like a gift. It's a blessing. And I've always tried to do that. So I would try to do that. And I think you could do that more effectively in a county position because it's so much more close to the people and the actual residents of Michigan. So that's, yes, on the 5th DCA, because number one is they really need to write one. And my main point was, you need to make sure that whoever's coming through here is committed to writing instead of this PCA-itis that they've got up there. And the fact that they have, the PCA-itis was, I don't know if you read the article, it was in the packet about the 5th PCAs. Did you read that one? It was pretty good. So I wanted to get that from them. I didn't think I would. But you never know. That was the purpose of applying to the 5th. Whether they listen, you know, all I can do is I'm just the messenger. No questions from over on the right side of the aisle, or
Those darn people on the left.
yeah.
Any other questions? Anyone in Zoom land? All right. Mr. Gosney, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for your feedback. I mean it. I appreciate you saying that. Sure. And so the number ending in 30, is that a good number to reach you?
3 zeros?
30.
Oh, let me see. Yes, that's the right number. The memory is on the finger. All right. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. and good luck in your preparations, and try to put through 6.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.